What is good, Straw Hat Crew, and welcome back to the channel. You already know it's a banger. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alrighty, for today we have the most horrifying Halloween deaths ever. Y'all really like the plain one, so I figured we would do this, and hopefully y'all like this too. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
The Hershey's incident. On a Halloween night in 2011, a small home on Winchester Avenue in Chicago quickly became the scene of a nightmare. After trick-or-treating, a grown 55-year-old man fell into a fury with his...
First off, go ahead and rewind, reclock, reanalyze. Why is a grown 55-year-old man going trick-or-treating in the first place? Honestly, that might be bad karma for what's about to happen if something happens to bro. Because a 55-year-old man should not be stealing candy from the kids, man. You know what I'm saying? It's disrespectful. It gets to a point. Especially you're not even trying to hide it by taking your son out with you or taking your nephew or you know what I'm saying, whatever out with you. And you know what I'm saying, getting a little bit of candy off of his little basket. You feel me? You going out in a costume as a grown man trying to get some candy, man. Watch out, bro.
Partner after discovering that his bag of Hershey's candy was missing. He was convinced that the 49-year-old woman had taken it, and what started as a petty accusation quickly escalated into a heated argument. The shouting grew louder and tempers boiled over. In desperation, and perhaps in an effort to also protect herself, the 49-year-old woman hurled a plate at the man's head, striking him in the face and cutting above his eye. The injury, later visible in the mugshot taken of him, only stoked his anger further. With dripping down his face, the man reached for a kitchen knife, and consumed by rage, he lashed out in a frenzy, striking the woman.
Oh, never mind. I thought maybe he was gonna get like you know how like whenever you know how like sometimes you would get your candies and your candies would be like just well, it did say deaths. I don't know why I was thinking so mild, but I was just thinking it was gonna be like, you know how your candies would be like how do I explain that? Just bad, like they just been sitting forever. It just tastes like shit. But nah, wow. And here's the thing. You know, this literally could have all been avoided, right? If he literally would have just been a grown man or more mature, this could have been so much easier. Cause it could have went from, why the fuck am I missing my Hershey? You know what I'm saying? This nigga crying and woofing and bitching and complaining or whatever. As if okay, say my girl got some Hershey shit and she came home and they're gone and she's like, you fucking ate them. She's fucking going crazy. She's really crying, like she's really getting mad over this fucking Hershey shit. Me, being me, I'm gonna be like, I didn't fucking touch your shit, so you stop fucking accusing me. It's gonna piss me off. But I'm gonna go get you some more of that dumbass shit, so I can stop hearing your fucking mouth about it. And then I'm gonna go, you know what I'm saying, do whatever needs to be done. So it really could have been avoided. I'm not gonna lie, bro. This is just insane. Over a Hershey bar.
Multiple times. Neighbors later recalled hearing chaos and screams echoing from inside the home. Unsure as to whether or not the noises were Halloween decorations, police were eventually dispatched to the area. When officers arrived, they found the woman gravely injured. She was rushed to Cook County Hospital, where she lingered in critical condition for nearly a week. Despite doctors' efforts, her injuries proved fatal, and she later passed on November 5th. The man was arrested soon after and booked on felony charges. What had begun as a trivial Halloween quarrel between two adults ended in one of the most brutal of ways.
Woman killed over Halloween candy. A man became so enraged over a missing bag of Halloween candy he pummeled a wife into a knife, my bad, into a woman multiple times. According to police, he was arrested on Halloween night, and charges expect to be upgraded after she Saturday multiple times Winchester Avenue on Halloween. Jesus, I be forgetting. That's my bad. I was in the middle of talking and then YouTube people with an ad. But I was saying, I'll be forgetting that these are real stories, like these actually happened. Because some of them just be so insane that you're like, dude, there's no way someone actually did this, right? Wow, man. Hopefully she's in heaven now, man.
costume malfunction. On October 31st, at a thriving Halloween carnival, a 51-year-old man would step into the bustling streets dressed in a costume of burlap and straw, eager to join the thousands celebrating beneath pulsing lights and music. But in a sudden, tragic turn, the man's night of festivity shifted into pure trauma. The man joined the crowd in an energetic dance, and in the midst of the excitement, he wanted to take a break and light a cigarette. In his attempt, the flame from his lighter caught the...
Let's go ahead and... Guys, we're going to have to... This is going to be a lot of rewinding. Let's go ahead and rewind real quick. You're going to light a cigarette with a dry ass, what looks to be a potato sack, and then a dry ass, what looks to be leaf fit on.
He wanted to take a break and light a cigarette. In his attempt, the flame from his lighter caught the edge of his costume's hood, and in an instant, his entire outfit ignited. Due to its...
Really? No. Really? No. Really? Really? Is that what happened? No. I assumed that it was so dry it wouldn't have lit. I mean, bro, we gotta be smarter. I'm not gonna lie. We just gotta be smarter. Some things in life is just like you gotta be smarter, bro.
Material, the costume was extremely easy to burn, but difficult to put out and take off. The man would try ripping the costume off of his body, but its contents had already begun melting into his skin. As for the crowd around him, they at first thought it was a prank or some sort of fire stunt woven into the Halloween event. It should be noted that most of them were heavily intoxicated, so their rationality and judgment skills were extremely impaired at the time. As the blaze spread violently, it swallowed him...
Bro, what? No. Stop, rewind, rewatch, bro. What are you talking about? I have never been too drunk in my life, ever in life. I don't even... When I drink, by the way, I don't even get drunk. I hate getting the feeling of throwing up or anything like that, so I never get more than I don't know, I probably get 2-3 shots max. I just like getting buzzed. I like getting my mouthpiece moving. That's about it. But even if I was to get, I would have to be at a point of drunk where I didn't even remember the night for me not to see a nigga on fire and be like, yo, what the, yo, someone call an ambulance. Bro, what they were heavily drunk, guys. They were heavily drunk. So when they see the nigga on fire and he was rashing and his skin was burning alive and he was screaming at the absolute top of his lungs. Come on, man.
Whole like a torch. His figure staggered into the mass of dancers engulfed in fire with his arms flailing in a desperate panic. People continued cheering. Individuals were so impressed by the stunt that they had begun to record the screaming victim. Only when the man's screams got louder than the music at the carnival did a few sober witnesses realize what was going on. They rushed in to help and tried to rip off the burning pants and jacket that were now clinging to his skin. People took water bottles from their backpacks and emptied it onto the blaze, while others in the crowd continued chanting, snapping pictures, and dancing to what they perceived as a stunt. When the flames finally calmed, he was barely recognizable. Despite being rushed to the hospital, the man ultimately passed away from his wounds.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. It's bro, why? You got you knew you had that dry ass shit on. I understand you probably drunk, bro. Fuck, dude. Just be safe out there, y'all. Just use your heads, use our brains in every aspect of life before we do anything. You know what I'm saying?
A 23-year-old mother in Hong Kong would continue navigating her life in an environment tainted by hardship. She was an orphan as a child, and as she grew up, she became addicted to abusing substances and other things.
I had to censor a lot of things for this case, too graphic. She was kicked out of her orphanage and became homeless. Okay, she became a teenager.
She worked at a nightclub in one of Hong Kong's red light districts, Tsim Sha Tsui, where a 34-year-old mob boss frequently visited her for services. The gangster was known to be extremely dangerous as he had a horrible temper and would often do cruel and unusual things to people who wronged him. One day, after the two met with each other, the mobster would accidentally forget his wallet at the venue. Upon seeing that it contained 4,000 Hong Kong dollars, the woman would secretly steal it to help her own financial situation for herself and her son. The mob boss found out, and out of fear of what he'd do to her, she immediately returned the money back to him. However, he wasn't satisfied. He demanded that she pay an additional $10,000 back to him as an interest fee for her thievery. Obviously, she couldn't meet those requests. On a calm night, as the woman made her way into her apartment after her shift, she'd hear knocks at her door. It would be 3 members of the Triad gang and a young girl who claimed that they wanted to settle the dispute with a more reasonable fee. Also, side note, the young girl seen here is actually the mob boss's girlfriend. Remember how I said he's 34? Well, she's 20 years younger than that. Just,
Hey, lock this nigga up. I don't want to ever see this nigga out again. Ever.
Yeah. Anyways, as soon as the woman opened up the door,
Kill that nigga!
they ripped her out of her apartment and drove her to a rundown flat on Granville Road in Kowloon. It was there that her final horrific month of torture began. Her captors beat her with pipes, suspended her in the air with wires, burned her with wax and plastic.
Yeah, no, kill that nigga, bro. No. No, I'm being serious. No, that nigga needs bro, no. For like on some real shit, like that nigga needs to die. No jail. No need for jail, actually. Just straight death. Cause what the fuck?
And rubbed peppery spices into her wounds. Each day blurred into the next. It was a cycle of torment designed not only to punish her, but to strip away at her humanity. Neighbors heard nothing beyond the walls, but within them, suffering was routine. After nearly a month of agony, her body could no longer endure the mistreatment, and she would pass away from the monstrous acts of the gang. Upon realization, the mob boss had his men disposing of her remains in bags and pieces to clear themselves of any evidence. However, in a grotesque and cruel twist, the boss would have her skull boiled clean, polished and preserved, and then stitched into his girlfriend's Hello Kitty plush.
I really try so hard not to judge because I know it's not my place, but it's like, oh my goodness, that nigga, he has to deserve death. Man.
Actually, I don't really feel comfortable considering her his girlfriend. I mean, the man's quite literally old enough to be her father. But nonetheless, night after night, the young girl would be faced with the doll as she lived with the mob boss, and he kept it in the flat they were living in. She wouldn't be able to escape the sight of the toy, and as time went on, it began haunting her. She'd start seeing hallucinations and apparitions of the woman's ghost. The spirit would follow her every day, weeping dreadfully. It'd stand by the corner of her bed, staring at her every night, and if the girl ever fell asleep, it'd show up in her dreams as well, and turn them into nightmares. In her words, she said that it kept haunting her while demanding justice. It got so bad that the girl developed insomnia, and for weeks, she'd barely eat or sleep. Eventually, she broke. She ran to a nearby department, and reports from the Kowloon police station say that she turned up at the building shaking violently. As mentioned from witnesses, rather than her saying that she has a crime she needs to confess, the first words that left her mouth were something around the lines of, "I keep seeing her. I can't sleep. Please, she won't stop crying. She won't leave me alone." She was literally traumatized. The girl told police absolutely everything they needed to know, and officials set out to arrest everyone who was involved.
Yes! Yes, God is good, boy. Yes, bro. Get that nigga out of here. Fuck yeah, get that nigga out of here.
The 3 men. Actually, they don't really deserve to be called that. The 3 criminals were all sentenced to life in prison with a 20-year minimum.
This was the mob boss? Ooh. Let me.
Or parole. The young girl was placed in protective custody, and after the trial, it was noted that she was seeing the ghost less. However, she'd still go on to experience nightmares and auditory hallucinations of the woman weeping.
I'm sure she did. She had to torture her for a month straight. you don't bounce back from that. Your brain doesn't get to come back from that. Unless you know what I'm saying? Unless you got him. But not by yourself. You're not coming back from that.
The last thing that was heard of her before she was relocated with an identity change was that she was being given psychological treatment and correctional therapy. These aren't just horror stories, they're real events. And they're all so wrong, in so many ways. Halloween is meant to be scary in a fun manner, not in a cruel and dangerous one. To ensure that happens, make sure to group up, stay close to your friends, drink responsibly, and always check your candy twice. Take care of yourself and keep your loved ones safe. Without further ado, have a happy Halloween.
Did I jump scare you? Yeah, I bet I did. You.
Well, I was about to get jiggy. Thank you for the video, man. Hey, man, like, bro, that last one was just, I'm not gonna lie, that shit's sick. Genuinely. Like, and I really try not to judge, because it's not our place to judge, y'all. Even the most heinous niggas, it's really not our place to judge. But it's like some things I can't let, like I can't, like my soul just literally won't let me just be like, I hope he, because I hope he, I can't even say that for him. I can't even say that for him. I don't, and it's not good to think like that, but I don't, for real, bro. With that being said, though, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.
She call me Luda, bitch, I roll out with my shooters. She wanna fuck me in a Plymouth Barracuda. I got my gun on, yeah, she know I'm